The Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Are you ready for this? All right. They're the ones that distribute federal funds to NPR, PBS, and the other public radio and TV stations in the United States. Listen, prepare yourself for this. They announced that its board of directors had voted to dissolve the organization following Congress's rescission of its federal funding last summer. Now, NPR and PBS have long been accused of political bias in promoting far-left ideologies, which they call trusted news and educational programming. Well, in last year, something was finally done about it. And this is quite significant in my view, because what we are seeing is that through the funding, cutting this funding, there is a disassembling of the left's infrastructure that has been used for decades. And what Republicans historically have done is they've come into government, they've gotten control, and they just push the pause button. Trump is not pushing the pause button. He's pushing the eject button and it's stomping on the tape. Joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Pete Sessions, a member of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, where he chairs the subcommittee on government operations. He represents the 17th Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Sessions, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Tony, thank you very much. What you've just talked about, defunding PBS and NPR and these areas, is something that has been necessary for many years. NPR did not act like a balanced author of news. They talked about things and put Republicans on the defensive time after time to make sure that their agenda was well heard. I'm proud of my vote.
Well, it's needed to be done, but it's never been done. I mean, I go back to my favorite president. I say that with respect, but with Ronald Reagan. I served in the United States Marine Corps under Ronald Reagan, and I mean, I thought he was a turning point for this country. He wanted to get rid of the Department of Education and others, but he never did this. He never disassembled the left's infrastructure. So as soon as they got power again, they started right back up where they left off. I don't think people understand how significant this really is.
Well, and in fairness to Ronald Reagan, he never had the majority of either the House or the Senate. And it does take majorities. Common sense is what Ronald Reagan was best at. But let's just tell the truth. The left knew they could count on this as a reservoir, a pool of people who would come into to journalism, who would come and take these issues on, and it was high time we did it, and we did.
What's next? This is a case study, I think, on how you change the trajectory of government is by not just stopping the funding, but ending these entities.
Well, Tony, we're still struggling, as the president is, with the president's management agenda that is winding its way, obviously, through courts, and that is getting the remaining some 30% of federal employees, non-military, non-law enforcement, to come back to work. They are still not reporting to work. And while the administration doesn't come and tout this very much, it is still happening. Thousands of federal employees do not answer their emails, do not come to work, and could care less. And we still have a good bit of work to do. We're at the end of year one, beginning of year two. We have our hands full.
Now, I just want, for clarity, I want to go back on this with PBS. There's kind of the umbrella where the funds went to these other entities. NPR and many of the state entities will continue, but they won't be doing it with federal tax dollars.
That's the whole point. The federal tax dollars. They've got a beautiful building here, or perhaps did in Washington, D.C., 501c3 and 403b, didn't pay a dime to help pay the rent, the taxes here in Washington. So long, farewell, hate to see you, goodbye.
I've got about a minute left, Congressman. I'm going to get your take on actions that took place over the weekend. Venezuela. You have a history with your family in law enforcement. Your father was the director of the FBI. military operation or law enforcement operation?
No, there's no doubt in my mind. It was from start to finish. It was a law enforcement exercise. This is we were dealing with a cartel type activity. We were dealing with the need to make sure, however, when that happened, that we, as part of our assault, took down, stopped their ships. So it was a joint exercise that was seen by us. But no doubt this was a law enforcement exercise, start to finish.
Will Republicans stand with the president on this?
Yes, I don't think there's a problem about that. I mean, the people who don't like this are socialists in the streets. We recognize the difference, but this is something that has these strong men that are in these areas need to know that the United States of America will not allow our borders to be violated the way they did this.
And I know you care about this as well. It's not just the supply, but it's the demand as well. We've got to address the demand side of this equation. Congressman Pete Sessions, always great to see you, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us.
Tony, thank you.
Congressman Pete Sessions of Texas.